Hey, sixth graders. As I discussed with my classes today, your notebook is going to be due coming up here toward the on Friday, which is the end of third quarter. And with that in mind, I thought it might not be a bad idea to go back and do a real quick reboot of our tutorial on how to set up and complete your notebook. Um, we have reorganized the back end of a lot of our classwork pages on Google Classroom, so it seemed appropriate to go ahead and um, make an updated version of this. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom first. And of course, my view looks quite a bit different from yours because I'm a teacher. However, you're just going to go to your class, whichever class it is. And remember that you want to go to the classwork tab. Okay, so the stream isn't really going to help you with this one. Okay, you always, when you're doing notes, go to classwork. And up here in this very first section at the top is where stuff kind of lives that we need to access regularly. Notice that in your case, all of these should be kind of a lighter color, and then the third quarter science notebook will be darker because it's an assignment. So if you click on that, here's the old tutorial, here's our overview, and then this document, which in your case will have your name on it. Mine does not because I'm a teacher. This is the actual notebook that you want. So you want to click on that and open that up in a tab. It'll open up, and hopefully it won't. Yours doesn't look just like this. Let me hit escape so I can show my controls. So this is what you're probably going to see. Okay, so if that's the case for you, or you have a couple of notes but not all of them, this is just a good refresher for how to actually paste these in there. All right, so once you have that in place, you're going to go back to Google Classroom. And now you're going to look along the side, especially if you're starting far enough back with your notes that you need to do notes from the previous unit. The previous unit was this Earth systems and materials, Earth materials systems and processes or something like that. So you're going to look over here under all topics, and I've got some topics here you don't have, but you're going to go to Earth materials and natural hazards. There we go. Now, when you get here, these will all be spread out. So you want to look for the second entry. The first one's going to be the study guide, which we don't need now because the test is over. But the notes are all here, and there's only 5 days worth of notes. So it's not an overwhelming situation, but you are going to need to go through and complete them. So I'm going to assume that theoretically we're starting at day one. So we're going to go to day one and open that up. And you're going to have another slideshow similar to the one before. Now, the thing you have to realize, and this can be a little confusing, is that this, like the actual slide here, you don't live over here. This is nothing to you. Okay, so just ignore this. You live over here in the thumbnail view, okay, where the little guys are. So you want to click on one of those previews. And if you hold down Control and click the other one, it will select them both at the same time. The other thing you can do is hit Control. Click over here so you either have a line or a line around one of them and hit Control A. You will know you have them selected because they will have this orange box that you will see around the outside. Not just a shaded orange, but an actual orange box. When you have them both lit up like this, then they are both ready to be copied. So you're going to go up to Edit, click on Copy. Okay. And then you're going to go to your notebook and you're going to go to the last slide you entered, which in our case is the cover, and you're going to go to Edit and Paste. And there they are. Now notice that this pop-up showed up. This is very important. Okay. When this pops up, it gives you the option to either match the styles in the presentation, keep the original styles, or link and keep the original styles. You want to keep the original styles. You don't want to link them. You don't want them to match. You want it to be original. So you click on that. And when you've done that, these will stay the same. If you click the wrong thing in that dialogue, one of the pages may switch to a completely different days of notes. So that's very confusing. Please make sure that you click Keep Original Styles and just keep them the way you wanted them to be. And then once they're in place, you're good to go. So then now you could either just pause right here and go fill these out, which is kind of smart, I think, to go ahead and just do them as you go. So when it comes to filling them out, you're going to go back to Earth Material Systems here. This is in our in Google Classroom. And you're going to go just below where the notes are. And you're looking for the same day's slides. So you want to open that up in another tab. Now, since I've already copied these over, I'm going to close the original notes tab here because that we don't need. But now I have, here's the slideshow that corresponds to the day one notes. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out so it's a separate window. And you don't have to do this, but I just find it's really helpful and it makes my life a lot easier if I do it this way. All right, so I'm going to split my screen so that I have my slides on one side and my notes on the other. It doesn't matter which side they're But that way I can see the slides and I can also see what I need to be writing on. So I'm going to go to this first part, and you'll notice that this first part matches these. Okay. So the first part here we kind of did as a free answer in this case. This is really one of the only places in our notes where we just wrote whatever we wanted to write. So there's not anything you have to copy here. You just have to answer the questions. So that corresponds to these first two. And then you're going to get down here. It says, what are geoscience processes? Notice that here it says, what are geoscience processes? So that tells me that a lot of these blanks are going to be on this page. Okay. And then as we continue on, this is also what are geoscience processes down here. Here's examples, constructive and all of that. And so you're going to be able to decide here's what is scale that corresponds to that. And notice that this diagram looks an awful lot like this one. So they follow the slideshows pretty closely. It's not hard to figure out which one goes where. Now, I will tell you that the wording isn't always identical. That's okay. You know, if you come up with something you just really cannot figure out what goes into it, just put in your best guess. Try to understand what the slideshow is telling you. Put your best guess over here. I'm looking to see that you put effort into completing this. Okay, I'm not necessarily grading everything for precisely correct answers. That said, if what you have in here is random, I'm going to notice that. I'm pretty good at picking up on that. So please don't just put random stuff in here. I'm going to be looking to see that you actually have reasonably coherent things in your notes. Okay, so when you finish with that, then you can close out those slides, come back over here. You can get the day 2 notes, open up the day 2 slides, do it again. Okay, there are 5 days of slides here, 5 days of notes, 5 days of slides. When you're done with that, and I'm going to spread this back out a little bit so you can see this menu here, then you want to come back up to our current unit, which is water, weathering, and erosion. Same thing, 5 days worth of notes, 5 days worth of slides, and they all match up with each other. Okay, if you have questions, please feel free to let me know. Send me an email, chat with me on GoGuardian, whatever works for you. Just, you know, of course, bear in mind if I'm in the middle of teaching, maybe that's not the best time to ask me where the notes are. Let's make sure that we're clear on this. You're going to see this again next quarter. So it's important that you understand how this works so that you can continue to keep up with us and maybe don't do the whole thing the last week of the quarter. Okay. Have a great day and good luck.